The ending is abrupt. I hope there will be a second part. In a world reshaped by a victorious White Russian state, the stage was set for a dramatically different Second World War. Under the iron hand of the supreme ruler of Russia, the remnants of the Russian Empire became a manufacturing capitalist powerhouse. Bolstered by rapid industrialization, sweeping economic reforms, and substantial foreign investment, Russia became more powerful than ever. But an old enemy has returned. Germany and its puppets want the destruction of Eastern Europe and all its inhabitants. The Russian Empire stands alone against fascism. The German army launched a series of planned offensives into Russia. The initial German attack was marked by a swift and ruthless blitzkrieg aimed at key targets in Western Russia, especially the cultural and logistical hub of St. Petersburg. The offensive was characterized by fast, armored brigades, supported by coordinated artillery barrages and airstrikes. Germany's goal was to quickly destabilize the Russian state and force a swift capitulation before it could fully mobilize its industrial and military might. On internal matters, on the other hand, the actions were swift and effective. Rapid industrial mobilization, through converting current civilian factories into military factories, and production quotas were dramatically increased to supply arms, vehicles, and munitions needed for the defense. Seeing all this chaos, the Allied powers such as the US and Britain recognized a powerful ally in Russia and began sending lend-lease to the Russian state in which they would receive food, oil, and most importantly, military equipment. On the German side, the early successes of the Blitz were met with significant confidence. The High Command viewed the initial strike as a demonstration of the Wehrmacht's tactical superiority and believed that once the Russian state was destabilized, further advances would follow swiftly. Simultaneously, the Nazis initiated a massive operation in the northern region, where armored spearheads clashed with Russian defenses in one of the most intricate tank battles the continent had ever seen. Despite early advances, the German thrust gradually bogged down, and the offensive stalled as Russian forces, now fortified by deep trench systems and a reinvigorated industrial output, countered the assault. Adding another layer of complexity to the conflict were the rising insurgent movements in Ukraine and Belarus. Fueled by nationalist fervor and supported covertly by Nazi intelligence, these groups sought to capitalize on the broader chaos to assert their independence from the Russian rule. After months of grueling battles, a decisive moment arrived when Russian intelligence uncovered critical weaknesses in the German command structure at St. Petersburg. On a cold December morning, Russian forces launched a massive coordinated counteroffensive that caught the German units completely by surprise. This assault marked the moment when the momentum shifted in the Russians' favor. The Battle of St. Petersburg, which was the main goal of the Axis forces, as it was once the center of the Imperial Russian state, ended horribly for the Germans. The turning tide in the war sent shockwaves not only in Russia but all over the world. The German war machine was not only bogged down in the wilderness but actively being pushed out. This gave an opportunity for the Western powers to prepare their own invasions to retake their foothold in Europe. Bolstered by their successes, Russian forces began launching systematic attacks into German-occupied territories. These assaults targeted key logistical hubs and supply lines, steadily eroding the enemy's ability to maintain a cohesive front. Russian units moved quickly to liberate towns and strategic positions that had been under German control, thereby cutting off retreat paths and encircling enemy pockets. D-Day still happens, as it did in our world, but with some side changes. As the Soviets never existed, the presence of socialism is far more prevalent in Europe. So, a lot of the French resistance would have been a part of socialist and communist ideologies. With the end of the war drawing ever closer, the Russians managed to take Berlin by storm even faster than in our own world. Since this world's Russia was actually semi-prepared for a German invasion and never pushed their generals, they managed to push Germany back much faster. This will eventually end up with Germany being split 50-50 by the Western forces and Russian ones. At the end of the war, we could initially see the world being split up once again in the West and the Russian-controlled East. But that would quickly take a turn. European countries such as France, the UK and South Germany would gradually move to the left ideologically as a reaction to the right-wing dictatorship in Russia. At the same time, we could see the US either slowly distancing itself from Europe or shifting left-wing themselves, becoming some sort of a reverse Cold War. Thank you Gandhi, Morky and Tony for supporting my channel. See you all in the next one.